Earlier tonight, as I mentioned, I spoke with Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew. Earlier tonight, as I mentioned, I spoke with Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness about the impact of Hurricane Melissa and the status of his people. Prime Minister Holness, we thank you for taking the time to speak with us and update us on how your people are doing tonight. How is it right now in Jamaica?
Well, Jamaica has sustained a major impact from a Category 5 hurricane, one of the strongest hurricanes to have hit Jamaica, and certainly within the top 10 strongest hurricanes recorded. The corridor of damage is significant. We have lost hospitals. Certainly, our road infrastructure would have been damaged, which would include bridges, gullies, and waterways. The housing infrastructure would have been severely impacted in the corridor that the hurricane traveled. The hurricane hit the southwestern end of the island and crossed the island going northwards, and it should be now leaving the island, but behind it is a trail of destruction in the corridor of impact.
Prime Minister, I pick up that you're speaking in the past tense. Is that because you already know some of this, or you haven't been able to get communication because all that communication has been knocked out?
Well, when you're hit by a Category 5 hurricane, it's highly unlikely that you will be able to have communications uninterrupted. So in some parts of the island, communication is down. Electricity would be down as well, some preemptively. But we are still able to keep contact right across Jamaica. So what I'm giving you would be the summary of reports to date, to this point.
Is it fair to say, because the hurricane is still over Jamaica, you truly have no sense of how bad the damage is right now?
No, we are getting reports. We're getting assessment through our National Emergency Operation Committee. So we do have a sense of what the damage is, but clearly, it would only be after the passage of the hurricane and it is safe to conduct proper damage assessment that we will see the full picture. But the picture right now suggests that damage within the corridor of impact is significant.
What has been the most concerning report you've gotten so far from anyone out there in Jamaica?
Well, the impact on our hospital system in the areas that have been impacted, at least 2 or 3 hospitals have been severely damaged. Clearly, impact on our road infrastructure. We have seen landslides and rivers retaking their original courses and destroying property along their banks. And of course, the loss of roofs and housing.
Have you gotten any reports about any loss of life, or is it simply too early?
Well, we have confirmed 3 lives lost before the impact of the hurricane, before landfall of the hurricane. And those persons were, by all reports, taking precautionary actions in cutting through trees and removing debris, and were the victims of accidents, unfortunately. So far, we have not had confirmed reports of any deaths, but again, it's too soon to say that there are no deaths.
What is your understanding of Montego Bay right now? There were many people who were unable to leave Jamaica that were there, I should say, on vacation, and were essentially trapped. They're at the resorts right now in those ballrooms. Have you had communication with any of those hotels? Do you understand how those tourists are doing?
I've had a preliminary report from the Minister of Tourism, who would have given an assessment that some hotels were damaged, that there is damage to our airport. I can't say to what extent, but we have a fairly robust response plan, and the tourism industry is always prepared, knowing that we are in this zone where we could be impacted by hurricanes. So I know that they're doing the best they can, and that the provisions will be made to ensure that our guests and Jamaicans alike are in a safe place at this time.
We're seeing video of roofs ripped off buildings and hearing reports of people stranded by the floodwaters. Give us an update on the status of search and rescue operations. Have those started, or is it still too dangerous?
It's still too dangerous to do search and rescue. I've had a few reports of our fire brigade conducting some rescue operations on land. But they would have to make the assessment. From a policy perspective, we have given a directive that during the hurricane we should, as best as possible, protect our response assets and respond to the most extreme emergency for which the judgment is there would be the possibility of a favorable outcome.
Have you been in touch with President Trump or the American government?
Oh, I've actually received a message from Secretary of State Rubio, and not just the United States, but we've had contact with most of the international community, for which we are grateful. We do intend to mount right after this, the hurricane has passed and it's safe to do so, a credible relief and recovery response, and we would be grateful for support to augment this response so that we can recover even better and stronger than before.
Can you share what Secretary of State Marco Rubio told you? Did they promise aid would come into Jamaica or some type of assistance?
Well, the commitment of the United States would be to support in whatever way they can, whatever way we see fit, and the areas in which we see that we would need assistance. Secretary of State and the President of the United States have always been good to us, and we have always been good and strong partners with the United States. So we're confident that whatever assistance they can render and whatever assistance we deem necessary, there would be a great effort to have that fulfilled.
Do you have any sense of what you're going to need first, whether it be water, food, electrical infrastructure?
The forecast, plenty of sunshine through today. We should reach our normal high of